I think it's relatively intuitive to assume that thought comes first, as in before emotion. As if we use our mind to look at the world, understand it, and decide how we feel. But in reality, the sequence is quite the opposite. It may not sound so intuitive at first, but then it starts to make sense, I promise. As David Hume said, reason is not the master, it's the servant of the passions, meaning emotions come first and only then there are thoughts which arrive much later and start explaining. So today, I want to introduce a simple order: valence, emotion and thought. Valence is the most basic layer. It's not yet stuff like fear or joy. At this stage, it is as simple as good, not good, just a directional signal, sort of a red light, green light in our nervous system. Emotion is what happens when that signal becomes organized into a pattern. Freeze, flee, attach, avoid, approach, right? And thought is the narrator, the part that labels, explains, rationalizes, and builds a story. And it does so retrospectively. I'm not trying to say that thought is useless, but if you want to understand your mind, you have to see that thought is often not the driver, it's the witness that arrives mid-scene. It all starts with the most basic layer, two key players here: brainstem and hypothalamus. The brainstem is always on, and its role is very simple: to keep us alive, and it does so by monitoring breathing, heart rate, CO2, pain, energy, and it controls the arousal, and it never sleeps. Then there is the hypothalamus, a regulator. It keeps the body within survival limits: temperature, hunger, thirst, stress, hormones. It compares the present state to set points and corrects deviations. Those two guys are the main ones responsible for the most basic stuff, our survival. Together, they scan constantly. They don't care about the meaning, they don't ask questions, what is this? They only scan for relevance to survival. If something isn't biologically relevant, it doesn't enter the mind at all. Now, let's bring in an example. Imagine you're walking, and in the distance, a shape appears, a wolf. These systems, brainstem and hypothalamus, they don't see a wolf. They operate at a simpler level. They see a change, a deviation, an uncertainty, and as I said, they scan for relevance. And when they see something unusual, they simply say, uh-oh, something is off. Alert rises, noradrenaline increases, your senses sharpen, your attention orients. At this stage, there is no fear, no story, it's just an escalation. Then comes the crucial step: valence assignment. Our main guys, brainstem and hypothalamus, ask a simple question: is this stuff good or bad for us? The answer forms quickly through multiple ancient systems acting in parallel. The brainstem thinks, bodily state is shifting, not fun. Hypothalamus thinks homeostasis might be threatened, not okay. Neuromodulators push urgency and salience into the whole system. Let's pay attention. And the posterior insula registers the bodily tone, makes us feel the texture of not good. At this stage, the output is very basic. Not good, I don't know why, but it's not good. This is valence. Simple not good, which is not yet fear or thought. Just a simple bad for me. And from here, the system splits into three parallel streams. The first one is action readiness. Something is not good, so let's be ready to act just in case. This is where the periaqueductal gray steps in. It primes the body's survival modes. PEG selects global survival mode. Freeze, flee or fight. Muscle tone shifts, posture adjusts, breathing changes, pain sensitivity modulates. You might step back or freeze before knowing why. The next one is threat pattern formation. This is where our guys reach out to amygdala and ask, hey amygdala, this badness, does it match danger we've ever seen before? Amygdala combines negative valence, rough sensory patterns and memory, and if the match is strong, it specializes a state into threat pattern. Fear circuitry lights up, where fear is a biological state, not yet fear is experience. And the third one, integration. If the signal is strong, persistent or unresolved, and if reflexes won't settle it, then the system escalates. This is where they need to speak to the boss, consciousness. They do it in case more serious set of strategic actions or problem solving is required. The anterior insula shouts, "This matters to me." The anterior cingulate cortex, the ACC, flex urgency. "This needs attention, this cannot stay local." And the thalamus gates and broadcasts, "Make it global, now." Now, the bodily state becomes globally available across cortex, not as a story yet, but as presence. Consciousness receives a directional pull to act, and it's only here that the cortex starts doing what it's best at. It identifies, contextualizes, and labels. "That's a wolf, I'm afraid, I need to get out." This is the moment we usually call emotion, and thought follows close behind, doing its usual stuff, explaining, narrating, justifying, and predicting. So the full arc is brainstem and hypothalamus, alert, valence, kind of bad stuff, initial reaction, conscious fear, and then thought, or in plain language, first the body knows, then the mind notices. If this feels intuitively true, it's because multiple traditions have been circling the same idea. In Western philosophy, David Hume said something close to a scandal. Reason is not the master, it's the servant of the passions. In other words, thought calculates, but feeling motivates. Spinoza treated affect as the engine of mind, and Nietzsche suspected that our reasons often arrive as elegant cover stories for deeper drives. And then there is Buddhism, which is even more precise. In early Buddhist psychology, the chain begins with contact, then feeling tone, pleasant, unpleasant, neutral, and it's only after that craving and conceptual proliferation unfold. In that model, the mind doesn't first interpret, it first feels and then builds a world around the feeling. And neuroscience gives this story teeth. We have experiments showing affective evaluation without conscious recognition. People can show preference or aversion to stimuli they can't identify. We also have lesion studies. When parts of the frontal evaluation system are damaged, people can still reason abstractly, but cannot make good life decisions. They lose the gut guidance layer that makes thought useful. And we also have timing research that shows that much of the brain's preparation begins before conscious intention fully arrives. The point isn't that consciousness is fake, the point is that consciousness is late. Once you see this ordering, you start to notice something unsettling. A lot of your thoughts are not original commands, they are responses. They are the narrator trying to make sense of what the body already declared, good or bad, safe or unsafe, approach or avoid. And that doesn't make you powerless, it just tells you where the power actually lives. So the key is not in thinking harder, but in learning to recognize valence early, at the level of initial feeling, before the story solidifies, before the wolf becomes a whole world.